Hi, today we'll talk about are Ivy League universities worth it? My answer is depends very much on what you want done. What do you want to get out of it? Actually, the real question is what are you going to put into it? It doesn't matter which university you went to. What matters is what you put into it. For example, I went to Lancaster University, which is a British Ivy League. I did my master's in operations there. It's a 2 year program. Effectively, you could divide it into 1 year of algorithms and another year of statistics. So it was quite an intense program. So why do I ask the question, are Ivy Leagues worth it? From my experience, yes. Not because I went to an Ivy League, but because I had the opportunity to put in massive amount of effort into getting distinctions and doing really well at college for the Masters in Operations Research. You must be aware that um, college only provides you uh, what you need to learn, but it doesn't always work that way. Um, you need to be able to ask a lot of questions because you are there to learn how to manage your future profession and not there to learn what to think. It's a very big distinction. Learning how to think versus learning what to think. And I see that a lot of modern universities have shifted from learning how to think to learning what to think. And I'm glad I went and did my OR, operations research, in the UK because the UK is a lot more practical, whereas OR in the US is a lot more academic. So here is an example of an encounter with Ivy League professionals. Many, many years ago, I was working for a very large financial services firm, and I will not mention names. And they hired, while I was there, they hired consultants. My job was to determine the um, extreme loss of CMBS portfolios that they had. CMBS stands for commercial mortgage-backed securities. And I thought I had done a pretty good job. And I was surprised when they brought in consultants. You never know why people bring in consultants. Some of the times it's to do really move the company forward. Some of the times it's to explain to the shareholders that we have done our best. We brought in consultants. They couldn't solve it. It's not a problem that is business solvable. These consultants that were brought in were from a prestigious financial services consulting firm. One was one had a PhD in econometrics from Harvard University. The other had a master's in mathematics from Stanford University. And their job was to determine the extreme loss of the company's portfolios, and which basically overlapped what I was doing. So they came in 1 month, I forget which month it was. I think it was late in the year, and their assignment was for a year to produce reports on the extreme loss of the company's portfolio of portfolios, um, CMBS um, properties. So uh, I asked a lot of questions. These were consultants; they were supposed to know better than me, and I asked a lot of questions, and I could sense that they were gradually getting fed up with me And then about 6 months into the project, they asked my boss, he was the senior VP of, I forget, Jesus, that's how long ago it was. He was a senior VP, and he called me one day and he said, Ben, the consultants are complaining that you're asking too many questions. In future, going forward, you are going to submit all questions to me by email. I will decide what questions to ask on behalf of you. And I was shocked because good management consultants do not complain about their client asking questions. They manage the situation before it reaches that point. So these people had not done that. So long story short, another 3-4 months passed by, and I was the guy who was, because I was the team member for the company, I was building the model per their instructions. So I had completed about 97% of the model in Excel. It was quite a large model. And one day they came in about 3 months later, 4 months later, they came in and said, okay, we are taking over building the model, finishing off the model. And I turned to my boss and asked him, what's going on? It's almost done. And he said, no, that's what we agreed to. You build the model and they will finish it off. So they said they'll take about a month to complete the model, and they'll give us the results. So we waited. A month passed by, the time was up, and then I was told that they had asked for some more time, so they were given another month. And that month came up, and I was told again that they had asked for another month. And we were wondering why. What is going on that they couldn't finish the model and they needed at least 2 months? So several weeks after that, I think it was almost 3 months, we got a report from them, and everybody else was given a copy of the report. See, the company had 23 funds, fund of funds, and 11 of them, they had broken out and said, if you put $1 million cash in each of these funds, the losses, the extreme losses, will reduce by $1 million. And while we were reading it, I heard the office start laughing. And I was wondering why were they laughing? And it turned out the second portion of their report said, if you add $1 million to each of these funds, the losses will increase by $1 million. What was going on? This is crazy. How can you reduce the risk, put cash into a fund to reduce the risk, the extreme loss, and find it actually increases by the amount? So that was it. Company washed their hands. It was a lot of fees that was just gone down the drain. So the moral of the story is, just because somebody has a PhD or a master's or from some fancy Ivy League university, that doesn't mean they know what they're doing. This shows, looking back, it shows, yes, they may have learned some techniques and learned some methods about how to solve real world problems at university, but they didn't know how to cope with this case. They were completely lost. So the moral of the story is, it's not where you go or what you specialize in. It's what you put into the work you need to get done to solve the problems or to learn the methods of solving the problems. So I hope you enjoyed this talk. See you next time.